Hello, hello. This is the Pharmacy Seeds Network live stream Tuesday night. At least we're supposed to be live stream. Waiting for there we go. Showing up on the YouTube, the U-Tizzle. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for watching the Pharmacy Seeds Network live stream. This is the Amateur Radio Farmers and Gardeners Net here on the local 2-meter machine, sponsored by the Overlook Mountain Amateur Radio Club. We're going to start the net here in about 2 minutes. I just wanted to make sure the stream was up and working okay, and get my logbook ready, and you know, those little pieces. So this net is an amateur radio operated net. We're working on the 2-meter band. So for people asking, that's not CD, it's amateur radio. And basically I run this net for our club. So there's a place for people to meet and talk about gardening, farming, and related topics. Oftentimes food comes up as a subject of that, as well as you know, recipes and that sort of thing. However, it can wander into radio land and all sorts of other places, so please be patient if we do wander a bit off topic. Hopefully we'll be on topic tonight. I did talk to KD2RFI earlier this week, and I think he's going to be here tonight. He's always got excellent information about bees, so hopefully that'll be the dealio Julio. Hey, Gigi Gardens. Hello, Homesteading the Hard Way. Hello, Darlene's Garden Channel. How are you guys tonight? I was just doing the preamble babble here, about ready to start the net. When I get done with the radio net, then I'll jump over and do more interactive with the YouTube channel. I will try to keep an eye on the comments. It's hard to run all these things at once, so the second part of the net is usually more dedicated to YouTube for those who don't know. John Johns! Hello, hello, hello! Homesteading the Hard Way. Hello! Oh, hello, Darlene, he said. She said. I don't know which of you that is or if it's both. Alright, we're going to go ahead and get started. This is KD2IIN Net Control for the Hudson Valley Farmers and Gardeners Net. This is an amateur radio net sponsored by the Overlook Mountain Amateur Radio Club located in beautiful Ulster County, New York. If you want to know more about our club and our activities, visit our website at www.omarkclub.org. Without further ado, we're going to go ahead and start the net. This net is basically dedicated to farming and gardening and related topics. Hope you'll join us if you hear us and are interested. Without further ado, this is KD2IIN calling for check-ins for the Hudson Valley Farmers and Gardeners Net. Any check-ins, please call now. Do, 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 do. Alrighty then, somebody was bumping the machine. Alright, no check-ins recognized at this time. We'll check back in a couple of minutes. This is KD2IIN. I got 2 more foliar feeds I gotta finish. No. 5 more foliar feeds I gotta finish tonight.
KB2 SPT checking in.
Hey! That recognizes KB2 SBT. How are you tonight, Matt?
Very well. Got some extracting money today.
Fantastic, fantastic. How did you make out?
Good. It was the best one yet. We had about 170 pounds.
Yes! Score! That's a nice haul.
Yeah, it was good. The highest we had before was probably about 75.
Wow, yeah, okay, so that's another 100 over what you had before almost. Fantastic. Well, my hives are looking in good shape now too. All 3 of them are cranking pretty good on these warm days, so I think we're pulling some nectar. I think we should be ready to pull another super later this week or early next week, and then possibly the week after that, probably another off the right-hand hive. And then while I'm in there, I'll take a look at the middle hive and see what they're doing. I just put 8 new frames in on that top super that I harvested from, and I expect they'll fill that pretty quickly given their speed.
Alright, sounds good. Yeah, you had a pretty good haul too out of that one hive there. The middle one, I think you said, was doing really well.
Yeah, it's rocking, and the left-hand one isn't doing bad either. It's just not quite as accelerated as that one. I was watching a guy on YouTube. I think his channel is David Byrne, and he was doing he was going through this massive stack of hives, like a Frankenhive, where he had I think he had 2 8-frame deep supers on the bottom, and then he had like spacer blockouts, and he had 2 or 3 10-frame supers on that. And then he had like another 3 8-frame deep supers on top of that, and then a medium 8-frame on top of that. And all in all, he pulled off about 300 pounds of honey off this one hive in one shot. It's about an hour-long video, but it's really interesting.
Wow, that's an incredible amount of honey out of one hive. That's one heck of a queen.
That's what I said. Apparently he teaches classes, and apparently he sold some splits off of that hive. He was like, whoever I sold this the splits off of this to was going to be really happy.
Yeah, I would say so. Whereabouts was he located?
Oh man, I'm not sure. I want to say somewhere in the Midwestern states, but I'm not entirely sure of that.
Roger that. Are you still in turbo mode? I sent you an email. I don't know if you got it yet.
Oh, no, I did not. Oh, so you did. I was out doing foliar drenches. Let me just have a look at this quick. Real quick, let's see if there's any other check-ins. This is KD2IIN. Net control for the Hudson Valley Farmers and Gardeners Net. If there are any further check-ins, please call now.
KD2 RFI.
The net recognizes KD2 RFI. How are you tonight, Bob?
Good evening, TJ. Good evening, everyone. Doing good, doing good. Work is kicking my butt. 2 long nights in a row. I'm not supposed to work nights, I only work days. So it's been kind of crazy. So sorry I'm a little late getting on. But doing good. Trying to just keep the humidity here a little bit. I heard the storms were pretty rough coming through here while I was at work today, and fortunately I got no visible signs of any storms. I think they just a little bit north of me, so that's good.
Gotcha. Glad to hear it. Well, sounds like things are busy for you, but you're doing well. Yeah, I was watching the clouds here because I was doing some foliar trenches tonight, and I really didn't want the rain in the middle of that. And it kept looking like we were going to get hit, and I slipped back in and checked the radar a couple times quick, and like, oh, no, it's not coming at us directly, but looked like some places got hammered.
Yeah, that's what I was hearing. It looked like everything north of me got hit pretty good, but like I said, fortunately I had no damage. Knocked a couple raindrops at work. That's about it. But listen, you guys, sounds like the other gentleman there has a nice little haul off the side too, so that sounds good. I kind of thought it was going to be a good year for the bees, so it sounds like they're shaping up pretty good as long as this weather kind of keeps up. So sounds good.
All right, very good. Well, hang on. Let's just see if there's any further check-ins before we roll back up to KD2 SBT. This is KD2IIN, net control for the Hudson Valley Farmers and Gardeners Net. If there are any further check-ins, please call now.
This is KD2 RWI.
Net recognizes KD2 RWI. Are there any further check-ins? All right, no further check-ins recognized. How are you tonight, KD2 RWI? Ethan? Why am I bleeding?
KD2 RWI, I'm good. Pretty pretty good over here.
Oh, that was a mosquito.
Not too much new going on here at the
Give me my blood back.
farm, I guess we'll call it. I got some more meat chickens in, I believe 25 to be exact. And downstairs there is a pekin duck in the mix, but that looks promising. The meat chickens get baked pretty quick and you're ready to harvest in 2 weeks.
Very good, very good. May I ask where you get your meat chicken chicks from?
I get them out of these ones came from a factory in Ohio, but mostly just through Tractor Supply. There's a couple of them locally. I think they're going to be selling some relatively soon again too. Not too sure.
Ah, awesome. Okay. Yeah, I might have to pick a few of those up. I'd love to have a few of my own meat birds. Fantastic. Well, it sounds like things are going well over your way as well. I guess everyone's taking advantage of this nice growing season we've had this year. We've had good timely rains and good heat and good sun. It's been a good mix of weather. All right, let's roll back up to KB2 SBT. Matt, pick it up.
Hey CJ, yeah, my wife was wondering if your corn was doing well this year.
Good question. Well, let's see. My first planting is a little weak. It is developing ears now. I don't think they're going to be a whole heck of a lot. And the second planting was a little stressed, but that's doing much better than the first. And then the third planting is really cranking. I finally got the nutrition balanced by the third planting, and they're rocking. So yeah, there will be some corn. Yeah, quite a bit. I forget exactly how many ears is in each block, but it's a good amount. I think it might be 600 ears per variety. There's 2 varieties for each block, so it should have somewhere around 1,000, 1,200 ears, I would think. And that's assuming that that it just produces 2 ears. We could get as much as 4. KD2I.
KB2 SBT. Okay, yeah, sounds good. Yeah, we just had the one plant new, and ours were kind of small. These are called midget corn. So we might be interested in some of that.
All right, very good. Well, I will keep you guys in mind. I love working with local people, so that would be awesome. Let's see, let's roll on down to KD2 RFI. What's going on with you? Comments, thoughts on other topics, and people have said. I'm just going to pass it to you. I don't know where my mind is today.
Hey, KD2 RFI. Yeah, I know we spoke the other night briefly about my eyes. Yeah, fill everyone in quick. I got 17 highs, and I pulled off, only pulled 14 frames, mostly off my nucleus colonies, just to make more room. And my one nucleus colony in particular was just, the entire face of it was, they were gearing up almost every day. So I opened up, and the top box was just packed right tight, full of honey. So I ended up, like I said, took 14 deep frames off, combined all the hives, put more honey boxes on all the medium frames on most of them. So it made a lot more room for them. Everything I looked at looked like it was pretty much packed, so looks like it's going to be definitely a good year. So we're looking pretty good. I did get that video trimmed out and put up on YouTube there, CJ. So it's just a quick video showing me pulling the frames off one of the hives, and I think I took a peek at another hive real quick and realized I evidently forgot to put frames in it when I captured a swarm earlier this year, and they built up comb in there pretty nice, so I'll have to deal with that as well. But I'm probably not going to mess with them this fall. I'll probably clean it up next spring. So hopefully hopefully the queen will be down in one of the lower boxes. We'll see. We'll see what I do with it. Probably, like I said, not until spring. And all in all, I pulled I think about 96 pounds of honey out of those 14 frames, so that wasn't too bad. got it all in. I can hold close to 10 pounds of frame. But looks good. I just got to get it jarred up. It looks good. I think this year it's looking really good honey year.
Oh, good.
Chickens I put out, they're getting bigger. They're doing real well. And I almost hate to say it out loud. I have not had an issue with predators as of yet. But I'm always on my toes and waiting for them to come around. And so all the chickens are doing good. And I got a bunch of bears floating through. I think 2 large bears and 1 smaller bear I see from time to time. So it's a great wildlife season. Doing real well.
Fantastic. Well, sounds like things are going well. I'm surprised you're getting all that honey off of new colonies. That's impressive. I was just looking. I got about 5 or 6 meat boxes here, and I'm going to start getting those cleaned up later this season and get ready for next spring. I want to do some splits and expand. I'm really enjoying working in and around the honeybees, and I just can't wait to scale that up and integrate that into my other cropping stuff. I actually just put in a crop of buckwheat, about 500 square feet, and I got another 5 pounds ordered through Agway. Hopefully it'll be there Friday or Saturday. And I'm going to put in another 5,000 square feet of buckwheat for a late fall nectar flow. And also soil builder weed suppressor. I love how this integrates into the regenerative agricultural system. Let's roll down to KD2 RWI and see what he's got.
Sorry, my radio has that issue where it drops.
Causing my freon.
Because of the chickens. Got them going on. It's going to be for the next 6 weeks. They're all around 25 and all down. Turkeys are doing good. We got a lot of turkeys. So we're going to sell a couple. And maybe keep them for Thanksgiving, hopefully. But other than that, not much is going on. I got nothing to add.
All right, very good. Well, sounds like things are going good. Yeah, turkey's another one that I'd love to do. But you know, you can only put so many irons in the fire. And the more irons you put in the fire, the faster you have to be able to switch irons. So let's switch irons. KB2 SBT, pick it up.
There, CJ, I think I'm actually going to step out after one hour today. I'm pretty tired.
Sure.
Now. And, should replace that picture. KB2 SBT will be clear.
All right, Matt, very good. Good to hear from you. Glad you checked into the net. Glad you guys made a nice haul on your honey today. And thanks for the invite. Sorry, I shouldn't get it till later. Anyway, hope you have a good evening. I appreciate you checking into the net. We'll say 7-3s to KB2 SBT. And with that, this is KD2 IIN Net Control for the Hudson Valley Farmers and Gardeners Net. Let's see if there's any more check-ins. If there are any further check-ins, please call now. No check-ins recognized. We're back to KD2 RFI. Bob, pick it up.
Yeah, KD2 RFI. Yeah, really
Good
not
move,
too much
Kiki.
more going on, CJ, around here. Like I said, honey's doing good, chickens are doing good. It's maintaining, hopefully soon. I think around end of August or September, end of September maybe. I forget, I have to look back at the calendar. Chickens should start laying. And we should start, having home some eggs. And probably be most of the village here. with all the eggs I'll be, producing. So, but other than that, everything's going good. It's been so crazy at work. I actually had to set an alarm to make sure I was up for this. That's a couple bits late getting out. So, not a whole lot else to say. Everything's going good. Back to net control.
All right, very good, very good. Well, appreciate you making the net. And, I'm honored that you took the time to set an alarm to make the net. That's dedication, and I greatly appreciate it. I'm curious, would you mind sharing what you get for a dozen eggs for your chickens?
Well, everyone tells me it's not enough. I only charge $2 a dozen, or
Wow.
$3.18 pack. That seems to be the pretty much going rate for eggs up in Green County. I've heard some places, Ulster County and further south, getting as much as $6 a dozen. So
Yeah.
not really sure. The prices vary pretty wildly, but I'm perfectly content at my $2 a dozen.
Okay, yeah. So I guess the question is, are you making money at $2 a dozen? Because yeah, usually around here, free range, like grass-fed chickens around here usually is $5 a dozen. And you're right, I've seen 6 before too. So wow, you are really running at a low price.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's more of a hobby than a money maker. So it's just, I'm pretty
3 there,
satisfied
6
as
in
long
a row.
as I can,
Okay.
basically pay
Thanks,
for the
homesteading.
feed and, maybe a few cents in the pocket as well. But, yeah, it seems to do real well. I'm more worried about, moving the eggs as far as having them sit around. Years past, I've had a fridge full of eggs, and, it's kind of tough to move them. So I end up giving friends and family and telling them, just come get them out of here. I didn't want to sit, but I do like the idea of having quote-unquote farm fresh. And I think if they sit in the fridge too long, it kind of loses that appeal.
This is KD2 Control from Hudson Valley Farmers and Gardeners Net. Yeah, I completely agree. I try to keep them moving out of here too. I don't have any actual sales markets for them, but I do share with family and friends, and I get the reports back. This is such a different egg than you get at the store, and I know that because I eat a bunch myself. My new housemate here is into boiled eggs, and I never really liked boiled eggs before until I got into deviled eggs a couple years ago, and then recently he had boiled up some eggs, and I had a couple, and I was like, oh wow, that's a great little snack, and it keeps, and it's it's an easy way to get good nutrition. So I got into that. So I've been ripping through boiled eggs on and off, kind of in cycles. But yeah, that's a lot of chickens to manage for a few cents profit. But if you love it and you're doing it for passion, I totally understand that.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's more of a hobby. Keep me busy, keep me out of trouble for the most part. And
Yeah.
you're definitely right about the eggs being a lot different than store bought.
I meant to ask him if he washes.
I've been doing chickens for about 5 years now, and I've been buying them from a farmer for probably a couple of years prior to that. And I think the last time I had run out of eggs and I was forced to buy them from the store, I was completely shocked at the difference. I
Disappointed.
never really realized it.
Yeah.
So I will never buy eggs from a store again. In all honesty, if I ever run out of chickens, I'll always look for somebody who's doing eggs. It's just incredible the difference in eggs and quality, flavor, even appearance.
Not to mention nutrition.
I'll never look back.
I am right there with you. Yeah, after you've had your own and you know what went into them, and you get that orange, that deep red orange yolk, and an egg that stands up in the pan when you go to fry it. I mean, it's a world of difference, and the nutrition too is much better, a totally different nutritional profile. So I have some reports coming in here. Let's see. I think Robin's Tiny Homestead is in Mississippi. She says $2 a dozen there. And Homesteading the Hard Way says $3 a dozen where he is, and in Raleigh, North Carolina, he's in North Carolina. In Raleigh, North Carolina, it's $6 a dozen. So I guess it varies greatly depending on location and market and such. One other question: do you wash your eggs?
It depends. Is the FDA asking? Then the answer is, of course, I do. But it's generally I brush off any debris and hand rinse them. There's no soap or chemicals involved. I just basically hand rinse them. I've never heard of any benefits of washing eggs. Just, making sure they're presentable, pretty much. And I've had zero issues over the years. So, one other question I'd like to ask you and the other gentleman about honey prices. What are you guys getting for a pound of honey, or what's the average cost that you've been hearing? Because I generally, I don't know, I generally do about $10 a pound, and it's like a pint-sized jar.
That's right.
And again, I'm told I'm underscoring myself, but at the same token, I'm able to move it for that easily. So I'm just curious what everyone else does.
Yeah. I don't know because I haven't sold honey before, but this year I was looking around at prices and it looks like $10 a pound is about the going rate. Although it does, again, fluctuate greatly depending on the market and packaging and, who the buyer is. But like you say, if you can move it and not have to sit on it for forever, then you can put it back into your aviary or whatever other operations you're trying to fund. And I'm looking forward to that with the honey. That's so much less work than growing produce for sure. So I may be switching to more honey production and less produce production. Let's see, on the egg differences, if you wash an egg, you destroy a membrane that protects the egg from infection from bacteria. And so when you do that, then you have to refrigerate it. So unwashed eggs can actually be kept out at room temperature for 2 to 4 weeks and not spoil. So I know that is one difference between them. And that's why I was asking if you washed your eggs, because that's what I do. Brush the debris off, and I'm not selling them anyway, so I don't have to meet any sales standard for it. But I like the fact that they keep, and I don't have to, put them in a refrigerator, and then you're shocking the egg up and down in temperature and all that kind of thing. So I try to just keep a fresh flow going, and get them out to somebody or put them in use within 3 or 4 days. But I've had them sit on the shelf for 3 weeks and then used them, and they were fine. So interesting the difference you get out of that.
I'm kind of curious in the definition of washing. I mean, are you talking about using a chemical to
I wasn't.
break up the dirt and whatnot, which dissolves the membrane, or is it simple fact of running water over the wood?
I think
is
it's
what
the
would
water.
do it.
That's a good question.
And I know I don't have to refrigerate the eggs, but I just do because it's just easier to store them. And
It's a stable temperature.
most people here expect them to be refrigerated when they get them.
Yeah.
And I've talked to people from other countries that thought I was crazy. Like you said,
Yeah.
for putting eggs in the fridge and just leave
Yeah.
farm fresh eggs right on the counter for extended periods of time without any
2 months at least. Yeah.
I'm
Might even
curious
say 3.
what qualifies
Thanks
as
for
washing
studying the
eggs
hard way.
to destroy that membrane.
Yeah, okay. Well, when I read up on that, I did not see any mention of soap. All I saw was basically, putting the egg in a water bath. And the equipment that I came across when I looked into this, like, how do you do that on a mass scale without, like, special scrubbers and expensive equipment and blah, blah, blah. And I guess what most people do on a small scale is they put an air compressor bubbler ring underneath a vat of water, and then you set the eggs in the vat of water, and the air bubbles and the water movement take the debris off, and so that's how they're washing it. And I didn't see any mention of chemicals in that, but that doesn't mean that they weren't using them. So that's my understanding of that. I personally, I would not want to put any chemicals on them. I know that membrane is permeable at least to some degree, and I wouldn't want those chemicals, after all that work, to leach into the food that I've been trying to grow organically and with nutrition and health in mind all the time.
Yeah, no.
Hey,
I agree. I wouldn't want any chemicals on it either. So, but it sounds like just pretty much put them underwater is enough to break down that membrane. Is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
So, all right. I've never really given a lot of thought. I've just kind of, going ahead and always done it pretty consistently over time. So that'll be something to think about if I want to possibly change my ways or whatnot.
Thanks, homesteading.
I don't know. But it's good to know that washing sounds like it could just be in the preferred as just strictly running the water over them. Might be enough to do it.
Yeah, I think it is. I think that's what destroys the membrane, which kind of makes sense. You know, if an egg got wet sitting in the chicken nest, that wouldn't be good for it either. Usually mama hen's sitting on it, keeping it dry and warm, with occasional cooling breaks, but preferably no rain on it. So Homesteading the Hard Way here on the live stream says that they'll keep for 2 to 3 months at room temperature, and I was kind of short ballpark, and I've heard 2. But he said even 3, and he said the ones that they sell, they wash them and refrigerate them for sale, but the ones that they eat, they just leave on the counter and eat them wherever they eat them. So interesting discussion about eggs. I'm glad we cut into that a little bit.
Yeah, no, that's good to know, and I definitely appreciate the comments from live feed there. I know, generally speaking, anything I eat, and I feed my dogs a lot of eggs too.
Thank you,
And I do that because I know they're going to be going in a day or two. I leave right on the counter, or, you know, for us, well, just boys pulling the freshest, I'm taking right off the top. So, you know, it's the perks of, you know, doing your own eggs. You get the freshest and the best.
For sure. And I also have another comment from him. He says commercial eggs are washed with bleach, which that would make sense. They have this one size fits all standard from the USDA where everything is just handled in a certain way, and usually those practices work for mass production, but they also don't provide any feedback with testing to make sure that things are good. So kind of a double-edged sword there, but interesting to know. Yeah, it's supposed to kill the bacteria, he says, which it would kill pretty much everything. Anyway, this is KD2IN Net Control for Hudson Valley Farmers and Gardeners Net, and it's about 10 p.m., so I don't know, do you want to keep going here, or are you getting ready to cut out there, Bob?
Well, unfortunately, I'm going to get ready to cut out. I got to be up again at 4:30 and, you know, back to the same old grind tomorrow. But I definitely appreciate the conversation.
I don't think you cut in New York
thanks for everyone who checked in on live stream, checking in there. Hopefully, I look forward to a good honey harvest season, and this fall I should be rocking the eggs with, I got 55 birds all together. About 40 of them are young birds, and
wow.
They're going to start producing in, I think, August, thereabouts. So definitely looking forward to that.
Hey,
I mentioned earlier, I got another video up on
what's going on?
the YouTube channel I started, Black Bear Apiary. So if anyone wants to check it out, by all means, go ahead and check it out.
I will share that link in the live stream.
Not only about my apiary, but it's about, you know, some of the nutty stuff I do on the side as well. A couple video clips of the family and whatnot. So,
had a perfectly good
like I said, I just started putting together, and I find a real hard time trying to put videos together on a regular basis. And I don't quite have all the video cameras, but, you know, we'll see how it goes. I'm going to keep building on it and, you know, see what happens with it. So, again, definitely check out that video, CJ, the one I just did with the bees, Black Bear Apiary. And if you need a
good to see you, man.
spinner, like I said, I got one up here. We could coordinate something. I know you know a few people down there as well, so hopefully you'll be in good shape for using a spinner. Other than that, I'm going to wish everyone a 7-3, and I'm going to go tuck in the birds for the night, and I'm going to go back to my nest. All right, it's 82 RFI 7-3. I'm clear.
Sounds good. Thanks as always for joining the net, Bob. Always really appreciate our conversations, bees and chickens and everything all around. Hope you have a good evening, and tell your birds, burp, 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 burp. Good night. Thanks, 7-3s. This is KD2IN Net Control for Hudson Valley Farmers and Gardeners Net. I just want to see if Ethan has any final comments before I go ahead and close the net. Sorry, Ethan, we kind of got tied up on eggs there.
Hey, sure, that's UI, not a problem at all. Yeah, not too much to add other than, I'm not too sure what means of washing destroys the membrane on the chicken egg. I have to look into that. I know, I don't know how it works, but I know the theory. But I gotta head out anyway, so this is WI signing clear 73.
All right, very good. Yeah, definitely check into it. Hey, if that's inaccurate information, I'm always open to critique. We can always re-examine something if I've discovered something, thought I had it right and got it wrong. All right, very good. Thank you for joining the net. I appreciate it. I hope your meat eggs keep growing fast for you, and I hope you're enjoying the ones you harvested not too long ago. All right, this is KD2IIN Net Control for Hudson Valley Farmers and Gardeners Net. We're going to close the net now. This net is sponsored by the Overlook Mountain Amateur Radio Club, located in beautiful Ulster County, New York. You can find out more about our club by visiting our website at www.omarclub.org. That's whiskey, Mike, Alpha, Romeo, Charlie, Lima, Uniform, Bravo, Oscar, Romeo, Golf. Other nets on this repeater, Thursday nights at 8 p.m. every Thursday except for the third Thursday of the month when we have our monthly meetings. Check our website for location on that. Anyway, every Thursday night, Dave, K2JLV, runs the Thursday night Rag Chew Net with many amateur radio related topics. I believe that is all, other than that this is also live streamed via the Pharmacy's Network YouTube channel, and you can find a replay on our channel when once processing is complete. Usually that takes about 24 hours. So if you didn't catch it all and you want to go back and listen, you can do that as well. Thanks for watching the Pharmacy's Earth. Thanks for joining the Hudson Valley Farmers and Gardeners Net 73, and thanks to all who participated. This is KD2IIN, closing the net and returning this frequency to regular amateur use. Man, that's a mouthful. How is everyone tonight? Terrified of snakes. How do we get the snakes? Good Lord. Takes 3 to keep Robin in line. Only 3, you think? I don't know. I think it takes more than 3 to keep Robin in line. Yeah, I'm not terrified of snakes at all, but I don't like finding them in places they shouldn't be. I don't like being surprised by them. Around here we mostly have garter snakes, so they're pretty harmless. But once in a while you run into a copperhead or a rattler, and I'm not keen on coming across those. Gardening in flip-flops looking for crawlies. Yeah, I don't really want to interact with snakes. Watch them from a distance, fine. Turn around to pick something up and they're right there in my face. Nah, not okay. I saw one earlier this summer, and I stopped and reached for something. As soon as he saw me reach for something, he took off into the brush. I was like, yeah, I don't want to be running into you. Well, Memsy, I'm glad you made it in. Good to see you in here. And hello, Robin, and hello, Geeky, and hello, Homesteading the Hard Way, and I think there's other people in here too. I don't know who else. Anyway, hello everyone. Jean-Jeans. Don't mind me picking pieces of beet from my teeth. I had that one beet left from earlier today. I figured I'd have a little healthy snack. Black racers. Yeah, they're not poisonous though, are they, Geeky? First was a copperhead. A moccasin, dark brown color. Yeah, that sounds like... I almost sat on a copperhead once. I literally came about 1.5 feet from sitting on a copperhead once. Down at Tivoli Bays area. Me and a friend. We went to sit down on this rocky beach, and we both kind of turned around as we were sitting and saw him and jumped up. There's a 3 or 4 foot long copperhead. Scared the living daylights out of both of us. White oaks, yeah. Yeah, I mean, they are great for mice. I usually try to leave non-poisonous snakes for mice. And even the poisonous snakes, I usually just don't mess with them. I don't find a lot of them here. And so I don't have I'm not running around trying to wipe them out. I do try to be careful if I'm working in tall grass that I haven't been in a while or haven't mowed. You kind of know where they go and hang out. If it's a hot sunny day, they might be laying out on a rock or a patch of warm earth. Black racers are okay, they'll chase you. Yeah. Those must be the ones we had I did a surveying job down in Rhinebeck, which is maybe 10 miles away. Oh, it's probably 10 years ago now, but man, those things were everywhere. Every time I went to set up a survey hub, 3 or 4 of them, good size ones, really fast, they would take off, but once in a while they'd come like right at you. And I'd be reaching for the machete like, I'll cut you in half. I'm not having you attack me. I don't know what do you know why they come at you? Is that just an intimidation tactic? Stephtronics, hello. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining the Pharmacy Seeds Network live stream. Don't usually bite, but they're curious and smart. Ah, okay. That makes sense. I wonder if those are the ones that we had up here on that job. They were everywhere, and I couldn't believe how fast they could move. And there were some pretty big ones. Got bit 7 times by a moccasin homesteading? Did you have to do anti-venom or anything? I was all over the copperhead for at least 15 minutes before I almost picked him up grabbing weeds. Oh no. I hear the young ones are more poisonous. Yeah, that's the problem. You come weeding along and don't see them. You would hope that because you're moving weeds and you're coming at them, that they'd hear you coming and kind of like, I better move along. But it doesn't always work that way. And a young one, that makes sense. He's not necessarily tuned to sense danger as well, I guess. 4 inches away from your foot. I gotta check out your channel more, Geeky. You got some cool critter stuff on there. If you stay underground or stop. I did find that because I'd draw the machete to take a swing and they'd like kind of go the other way. Like, yeah, I'm not playing. I don't mind you on the ground. I'm not keen on having you right near my face when I go to set a hub up. But if you're gonna come at me, I'm gonna put a machete right across your midsection. Races were on the endangered list, but do you think they're making a comeback? Well, they sure are up here if that's what that was, man. Those things were everywhere down on that job. It was one of those low-lying, like, hard rock areas, so you had like these valleys where there was wet spots. I mean, it's a perfect environment for a snake, for frogs and mice and all that kind of stuff, food-wise. Yeah, I'll stand my ground with a shovel, a machete, a saw. Because I was surveying, I always had an 18-inch machete on me, so anything that came at me threatening was going to find itself in big trouble. Because I was pretty good with the machete after using it every day for 5 years. I could shave a hair in half with that thing. We didn't always dual purpose, yeah, good point. You almost lost a leg on that though, huh? But man, oh yeah, moccasins scare me. I've heard they'll charge you too. That's what scares me about the South homestead in the hard way. You keep trying to talk me into coming down there. I was out here last night working. The bugs were so bad they were in my face. And man, I got thinking about it. I'm like, man, that's going to be like April to November in North Carolina outside working at night, right? You guys must have horrible bugs. Rattle dry leaves with their tail playing rattler. That wouldn't surprise me. That's funny. They're out before the others in the spring, huh, Mimsy? You stepped on it in the dark. Yeah, how could you see that coming? Literally. Racers will chase off or kill poisonous snakes. Really? Well, they're sure fast enough. Interesting. Wow, well this stream is going all over the place tonight. We went from bees and honey harvest to eggs and chickens and washing eggs and not washing eggs, and now we're into snakes. Awesome. Covering a little bit of everything. Moccasins are mean and they will chase you. Yeah, that's what I've heard. That's what I've heard. I've heard they're very aggressive. Which is like, it's a scary thought to like fall in a swamp and then moccasins are being aggressive at you, and they get big too, right? Some of them are what, 6 foot, 7 foot? The big ones, is that right? Or am I inaccurate on that? I forget who was telling me in the South. Somebody from the South was telling me about it, and I was like, man, no thanks. You got struck by lightning too, man. You've been through it all. That's Chris, I assume, talking, right? Upstate living. Doc Brown, Wilder Dude. What up, Wilder Dude? Welcome. Upstate as in upstate New York. I'm pseudo upstate. I'm south of Albany, but I'm not New York City. Almost stepped on a 4-foot diving back in Boy Scouts. My dad came across a 4-foot rattler across a trail up in the Taconic Hills and went back to tell the Boy Scout troop leader that he had just seen what he saw, and he just, like, the guy just dismissed it. He was hoping none of those Boy Scouts got bit by that rattler because he was a big one. Gotta be tough to live down here. Yeah. Doesn't matter how tough you are, a snake bites you and you get venom and it kills you. You're still dead. Ah, K2DED. Ah, okay. Switching IDs, I got you. Dutchess County, right across the river. Yeah, we are upstaters, sort of. I've had people tell me we're not real upstaters because we're not far enough upstate. But everybody that comes up from the city calls it upstate, so I started calling it upstate. I guess technically he's correct, but I mean, it's more upstate than downstate. Caught it and went to the raw silent reptile farm in assault. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I mean, the snakes scare me less than the crocodiles, or not crocodiles, alligators. That's what really scares me. I don't want to go for a swim and have a 10-foot alligator decide I'm going to be a great lunch and drag me down and ferment me for a week. No thanks. Where are you from, Stephtronics? 6 feet. A 6-footer and there wasn't much meat? Really? I mean, there's not much to them. There's like, what? It's a tube within a tube kind of thing, right? So you got a little bit of guts, but not much. And then there isn't a whole lot of spine, is there? Although it's probably like fish where you get like the real fine bone fibers, because it's not a larger animal, obviously. Snapping turtles. I don't mind the snapping turtles. They take off. Actually, if you look at my channel, you go back to the springtime, I found one in the Ram Reservoir pool this spring. I was kind of surprised to find him. I wasn't keen on him being in the pool. I do jump in there to cool off from time to time. I took him out and turned him loose. My dad used to be a certified flight instructor, and he had one guy that hunted snapping turtles in the Hudson, and he would hire my dad, and they would go fly over the different bay areas, and he would spot them from the air and then go back and hunt them. You know, go back and fish them out later on. And he was catching, 3-foot diameter big ones. There's some huge ones down the bays. I've seen some really big ones down there. Put up a test video today? Okay, Robin, check it out. Scarce, but you have a few. Yeah, a few is just enough. How big was it? How big was the turtle? Oh, the one in the pool? Oh, like that. He wasn't huge, but he wasn't small. Big enough to bite onto a finger and lock down and have to surgically remove his head and jaw, or worse yet, locked onto a toe. Jump in the pool to cool off, and a snapper bites you in the toe. I mean, he doesn't have anywhere to run in that 14-foot diameter pool. In a pond, he's got somewhere he can swim off to, and probably will. But trapped in a small space, he might not react the same. Spine and ribs about 1 inch apart with stringy meat between the ribs. Okay. I've heard snake is good, but I've never tried. I don't have any major desire to try it. I mean, I wouldn't turn it down if somebody was cooking it and said, here, we want to try it. Yeah, I'd try it. I would like to try gator at some point. I've heard that's good. Yeah, it's pretty good size. Stay out west of 2 where all the new development is going on. There's a 4-footer in the park a decade or 2 ago. Yeah, all it takes is one with a gator. That's the thing. And the big alligator snappers? What's an alligator snapper? I don't know if I'm familiar with that. Around the corner from City Hall, yeah. Oh, right, so there's a little more policing action that way. You were his sparring partner, Robin? Good Lord. You must have Dane Bramage from that. Thumbs down, yeah. They sell them both at the Sandpiper. Is that a restaurant or meat market? Must be a meat market. Or some kind of market. My roommate's friend actually got a snapping turtle last year or the year before. He was going to make turtle soup with it. I never got to try it. He said it was really good. But boy, it's a lot of work to get into that shell. And I used to catch painter turtles when I was a kid, and I don't know, I kind of got a thing for turtles. I like them. I think they're a cool animal. And they don't really mess with anything. I have had snappers dig up fresh plantings, especially back at the old farm that I was at, the previous farm. They'd come in and dig up my tomatoes and stuff because it was, you know, the high ground off the stream. So they'd come up to lay eggs, and that pissed me off a few times. An electric fence didn't keep them out because, you know, they're low enough to go under the rung, and they, with that shell, they really didn't care if they were getting shocked. Your dad was a flight instructor too, Mimsy? Really? No kidding. My dad was a CFI when he was younger, and he worked for IBM. He was a manager. Well, he worked his way up from the field to manager, and then when he retired from IBM, he went back to being a CFI for a while. He loves flying. I love flying too. I'd love to have gotten my license, but it's an expensive hobby, and it's not what I want to do for a living. And actually, KB2SBT, the station that was on the live stream earlier, he was a commercial pilot out in Syracuse, Rochester and Syracuse. He was flying Airbuses. Really good pilot. And actually, still flies. He has his own aircraft, and he also participates down in the Rhinebeck Airdrome here. It's a local World War I, World War II airdrome air show that they do every weekend. Very cool if you've never been. And I grew up with one of the pilots that's down there now. We were friends when we were kids, and his dad worked there, so we used to hang out over at the airdrome every weekend and get to be part of the show and fly in the planes and eating cotton candy and all kinds of fun stuff. Just mental brain damage. Yeah, well, that would definitely leave some damage. Restaurant, okay. Gopher turtles in a soup. Huh. We have boxer turtles here that I find from time to time. I love finding them. They're cool. In fact, I felt really bad. I hit one with a mower 2 years ago. I was mowing one of my mulch sections, and he happened to be out there, and I didn't see him. And I heard the and saw pieces come out. Man, I felt so bad. But, you know, I couldn't see him. And he couldn't get out of the way fast enough. Used to eat snappers. Yeah, I've never tried it. Painted turtles, that's what I said, yeah. Painted turtles. Painter turtles. Painters. Actually, my brother and I used to catch them in the boat at the pond behind my parents' house. And we caught so many that after a while we decided we had to number them. So we'd scratch a number into the back of each as we found them. I think we were up to like 23 at one point that we had actually marked in the pond. So when you re-caught one, you couldn't count it because you already got them and marked them. Xerox is a sales rep. Okay. Farmer and logged in the winter. Okay. Yeah, that's a good combination. Logging's a tough business, boy. No wonder you're tough, Chris. You come from a long line of tough people, huh? I can tell you've been through it all. He was involved with the Blue Angels and others. Ah, Hammerhead, Sears G-Force. Talk about that adrenaline rush. You can pay me to do all that now. Yeah. Boy, I remember doing accelerated stalls. That was enough for me. Hour and a half of accelerated stalls. Ugh, God, you'll never be sicker. We used to go and watch the Blue Angels air show. We saw it out in Utica, we saw it in Albany, Schenectady, a bunch of different places. They were a really cool air show to see. Yeah, that's a moth flying around. all natural here on the Pharmacy Seeds Network. Yeah, it does sound like fun. Sounds like pop a couple Dramamine before you go, though. Those painted turtles are long committed. I've had my dude since 1980 and will probably have to care for him in my will. You've had him since 1980? Wow. Yeah, I didn't realize they lived that long. But I have seen turtles in the pond there since I grew up and like moved out. I still, once in a while, I'll go check out the pond, and once in a while I'll see one with something scratched in his back. From the distance you can't really tell what number he was, but it's cool to see like the remnants of that. The stalls, yeah, the accelerated stalls are just, you're basically climbing until the aircraft air stalls, and then you're falling until it comes out of the stall, climbing and falling and climbing and falling. So your stomach is just your negative G's, positive G's, negative G's, positive G's. It's like being on a roller coaster, but like times 10. I'll bet he was, Chris. Of course, that's an old-timer thing, too. Those old-timers, like, they lived in a different era. Things weren't, push a button on the phone, jump on your cell phone and call for help, and blah, blah, blah. 911 wasn't a thing. You cut yourself, you better fix it yourself or you're going to die. My favorite saying in the Navy, pitches forever. Calibrating the magnetic sensor, trying to get everyone in the plane sick. Yeah. Right. Exactly. Ugh. Man. Grew up in the logwoods. Him and his dad did pulp wooding until after we were married. Finally had to get a public job. Do that again? Do what again? Oh, the accelerated stalls thing? Is that what you mean? Old Mennonites. Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. Tough, resilient, well-educated, for how to take care of themselves and how to build things and make things. Incredible people. So much respect for that old school thing. It's such a fading thing of the past, it seems, anymore. Nobody knows how to do anything themselves anymore. Eat Polish sausages while calibrating. Good Lord. Yeah, he'd been flying for a while, would be my guess. Pulpwood is about over, huh? Where's all our paper coming from now? Is that all just big commercial mills? I know Maine does a lot of that. I went up to visit my grandmother's friends up there when I was younger. They were clear cutting massive chunks of land up there, and they were all going to the paper mill. That's how I grew up. Mystery Explained. Not true, they can push buttons. Well, they can push buttons, but when all that fails, and it will probably eventually fail, you think about what it really takes to take this whole grid system and infrastructure system down. This planet goes through some major changes from time to time, and there's nothing we can do to stop it, I don't think. I don't want to sound like Doomsday or Negative Nancy, but one coronal mass ejection could wipe out the entire power grid and communication grid in one shot. Done. And then what are you going to do? You push all the buttons you want. Nothing's going to happen. You got to get up and go do it yourself. And it's not easy. It's not easy. TV, no radio, no phone. Bathroom was outside, not light line. Yup. Only accept logs, really. We used to have a paper mill just up the road here, but it closed down a number of years back. I don't think there's any in the area now. I know there's one up near Albany. I know a guy that I think he's out of there now, but he was working in the paper mill up there. He was talking about what a dangerous environment it was, but he was making bank working there. Yeah, just a flea on the butt of the earth. And if we keep biting the earth in the butt, it's probably going to smack us. It'd probably smack us anyway. Ply logs to make paper. Okay. Well, it would be easier to deliver just logs anyway, wouldn't it? Than to have the machinery to pulp it. Yeah, how are you healing up, by the way, Robin? Are you feeling better, I hope? I know you said you were doing better last time we saw you last week, but I haven't had a chance to check in with you. I hope you're healing up from that fall. I hope you're feeling better now. Well, Robin, you're being smacked. I'm being smoked. Yeah, pulp is a good way to thin or get rid of stunted trees. We did a lot of forest management on the family farm up in Delhi. We cut it for firewood, but same concept. We would thin out. We were actually thinning out our sugar bush. We did maple syrup as well. We had a big sap house and boiler and a couple of 1,000-gallon tanks, and everything was, all the sugar bush was up on the hill above our sapping operation. So everything was gravity fed through tubes right to the big tanks, and then it went into a big evaporator. That thing would take 36-inch diameter by 8-foot logs, I think. Big stainless thing. It was awesome. Unfortunately, I was too young to get to really participate in that. I have made maple syrup other places since, but nothing to that scale. And actually, my friend Steve actually has a whole bunch of maple syrup equipment that we actually have here. Mimsy giving me a hard time. You're turning me into a chimney, Mimsy. It's all your fault. Anyway, we have maple syrup equipment, and this property has maples all over it. We did make some syrup one year, but it's an intensive process. And I have to say, after keeping bees now, I haven't even been keeping bees a year yet. And I really like when they go out and collect all the sugar and bring it back and evaporate it, and I can just steal some of it. That is so much easier. But I'd love to meld that together with maple syruping and do maple syrup and honey and food, food crops all combined. Yeah, hardwood is crazy expensive if you're buying, and you can't get crap for it when you're selling. I did one of those today with beets. One of my markets took some beets from me. In the store, organic beets are going for $4 each, and like their beet might be a pound. So you're talking $4 a pound, and because I'm competing with the wholesale market, I got $1 a pound for my beets today. Kind of disappointing, frustrating. But so I won't grow beets again for profit. I was really enjoying eating them. I still have some out there. I'm going to keep eating them. And I'm not going to sell any more beets, at least not to that market, because that's just, I mean, $1 a pound isn't bad, but when I see that price disparity, I'm like, man, I work hard to make sure these were high nutrition, healthy, high quality, and then I got to compete with commercially produced stuff where everything's machine automated. And, I don't know. It's a frustrating circumstance. So I'll be steering away from beets for sales unless I have a better market. No, you can't grow maples down there at all, can you, Geeky Gardens? Or even if you could, you wouldn't get the cold cycle that you need for the sap and sugar production. That sap run is ideally 28 degrees on the overnight and about 40 or 45 in the daytime with sun and a slight northwest wind. That's when your best sugar production is. Yeah. Last load you hauled, they said they wouldn't buy it. Yeah, that's the worst feeling to like. I did that a couple of years ago. I set up at a local like barn sale place, high traffic area. Took my my sweet corn down there, harvested a bunch of it. Went down there and set up. I sold 1 ear of sweet corn, $1. I didn't even pay my fuel, and I didn't have a way to freeze it or put it away. So I came back and threw out probably 200 ears of sweet corn because it went bad in the cooler after a day or two. I was like, I'll never do that again. You want it? You call the order. I'll deliver it. I want a check now. Otherwise, I'll eat it because it's good. Yeah, it is a hard business, and it's a really hard business to compete. Yeah, I know, but I don't have any place to do that right now. I really need to get land so I can set up a permanent place with a permanent structure for processing, and when I'm building my soils, have it, go back in my pocket over the years instead of having to relocate every so often. I'm working on that now. I'm going to gear more toward bees and honey, and because that's a more mobile operation, and that's a very profitable operation. And then I'll use that to help finance land or expanding other operations, and I'll be integrating cover cropping and that kind of stuff too. You don't get to 28 degrees, not very often. No, you wouldn't get it consistently for sap production. Organic, yeah. I want to get my regenerative agricultural certification. That's a new thing that's out, and that's really where I want to be anyway. It's a much higher standard than just organic. All right, Mimsy, have a good night. Thanks for coming in. Always good to chat with you. Yeah, they want organic as long as it doesn't look organic. Yeah, I hear you. They want all perfect produce and all. Some people I know aren't like that, but I don't. I feel like it's hard to sell somebody something that doesn't have at least a good look to it. Like, I kind of get that from a marketing standpoint. But at the same time, like, food is food. If it's healthy food, then why are we throwing it out because it isn't pretty? But that's one thing I say, with the high nutrition, the foliar feed programs, and the right biology, you get a lot more uniformity and a lot better looking produce. So there is an advantage in that. You were certified organic. Yeah, that's such a scam though. I mean, 3 years after a pesticide application, now suddenly it's organic. Those chemicals are in the soil for, 20, 40, 60, 80 years. It's that thing I was talking about before, where it's like they have a standard of how they do something, but there's no testing to verify that that's really up to standard. It's all by standard set. And if you're not going to go back and test and make sure that there's the quality that you're trying to produce is there, then why have the damn standard? So that means the guy who hasn't ever sprayed chemicals on his property, has trace mineral nutrition right, has high quality produce. He pays the same amount for the certification, gets the same amount for his produce, versus the guy who stopped spraying chemicals last year or 3 years ago and now has planted on that. And so his crops are definitely going to have some chemicals in them. That's a huge, huge difference, and it's not recognized from the organic USDA organic standard. But like I said, now there's the regenerative agricultural thing, and you're going to see that starting to show up in the next couple of years. This is this stuff that we're looking at now is cutting edge stuff, all of it. This foliar feeds and really plant sap analysis and stuff. And I'm getting ready to do sort of a series on testing and quality. I actually bought a bricks meter while we're talking about all this. I bought a bricks meter this week, You get these for about 30 bucks on Amazon. That's the bricks meter. Let me bring the camera up here and make sure I can see. You're seeing this okay? Yeah. And so I'm going to start testing my plant sap and looking to continually increase the bricks level of my plant sap, which will indicate increasing plant health. I'm also going to, if I can swing it in my budget, do a couple of plant sap analysis tests through Advancing Eco-Agriculture. They're about 65 bucks a pop, but that'll give me an exact picture of what I need to do to adjust my nutrition right on point. And so that'll actually help me calibrate. I'm going to do at least one of those. I'd like to do two if I could swing it. What does which measure? The bricks meter. Sugar and suspended nutrients and salts. Basically, you're looking at how dense the sap is. You know, is it very watery, in which case it's not very healthy, or is it very dense in nutrients and sugars and you know, exudates? The higher the bricks rating, the healthier the plant is, the healthier the produce from that plant is. So it's kind of a blunt tool for the job. I mean, really, plant sap analysis is the way to do it, but that's expensive. And if you're going a crop that's worth less than $5,000, it's not going to improve your yield enough to make the test worth it. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it anyway to understand where your plants are at, to help calibrate yourself so you can improve your quality and understand what your deficiencies on your soil and in your cropping system are, so you can address them and get them tuned in more. And then, you know, you could always, like, okay, say I do 2 this year and that helps me calibrate. Next year I'll be able to foliar feed more targeted to the nutritional needs of the plants. And then, say, mid-season I could take another test and see how close am I now. Oh, I'm only a little off. I got to add a little tweak here, a little tweak there. So, you know, it can help a lot. The organic farmers just spray at night. Well, I spray at night, but it's not chemicals, it's foliar feeds. Evenings or mornings are best for those. So, yeah, I know. I actually had, back before I knew about foliar feeds and disease and pest resistance on the level that I do, I used to use copper sulfate on my tomatoes trying to stop the blight. The blight, oh my God, the blight. And so the conventional farmer who was spraying organophosphates over his whole orchard every 5 days, you know, came around and he was busting my chops. I thought you were organic, you know. Like, well, copper sulfate is okay for certified organic, but yeah, you know, it's not the right approach. It was just didn't understand nutrition as well as I do now. And I'll probably look back in 20 years from now and laugh at what I was doing now and go, man, if I only knew more then. But it's a learning curve. They're spraying Perma. What is that, a pesticide? Yeah, see, and that's exactly an example of my point. Like, if you're just doing it by standard and you're not even testing, you wouldn't even know. They could spray it and you wouldn't know. Whereas if you're testing, you know, if you're taking a sample every so often of what's coming in, if it's insecticide, you're going to detect that. If you're not testing and you just have this standard, then what's the point of the standard? It doesn't mean anything. It really doesn't. The only thing it means is hopefully they're not spraying chemicals directly on the food you're eating. And that has some benefit, but it's not even close to enough. I mean, let's generate real quality and test for it. It's a pet peeve of mine, in case you can't tell. It doesn't show up. It would show up with the right test. What is it called? Perma? I'll have to look into that. In fact, let me write that in my log here. I have to look into that later in a sec. Decide. There we go. Well, anyway, it's after 10:30, and I got 2 more foliar drenches I got to do. Well, no, 4 and 2. I got 6 more foliar drenches I got to do tonight, so I got a long night ahead of me still. Well, I'll look into it, Chris. Hey, before we close this out quick, good work, John Jones. Homesteading, did you call AEA about that, the cow problem? Cows dying problem from the poultry manure? Permethrin. Oh, okay. Well, at least that's organic. That's from chrysanthemum flowers. But that's horrible for honeybees. That's super toxic to honeybees. It's only got like a 12-hour half-life, I think. So you could spray it, you know, early evening, and by morning most of the toxicity would be gone. But yeah, it's not, I mean, any of these are not good. Like, really the way to do it is build the plant health up and let the plant defend itself. Expecting a call back. Okay. What, did you end up with an answering, sir? Did you try to talk to a consultant? Sounds good, Doc Brown. Thanks for coming in, Steve. Glad to have you along. Hope you have a good evening. Hope your summer's going well and your garden's growing well. Looking forward to talking to you again soon. 7-3s, my friend. That's why you spray at night. That makes sense. It's supposed to be organic. Yeah, it is organic. It's derived from chrysanthemum flowers, but it's super toxic to insects. It's not supposed to be toxic to humans at all, but the reality is, if you're having an effect on the ecosystem, something that'll kill pretty much all insects, that's, you know, that has a negative effect on the ecosystem. That system should be intact, and truly healthy plants should defend themselves from insect and pest and disease. That's a hard standard to hold, but it's the right way to do it. Because, you know, you're eating sick plants. Well, how healthy are you going to be if you're eating sick plants? Well, you're not going to get the health that you should from it. 30% of our RNA interacts with our food, the food that we eat, directly. So that actually has a huge effect on how our genes are expressed. Remember, any organism, any genetics have to be expressed in an environment. That's where epigenetics comes in. And the environment makes a huge difference on how those genes are expressed and what genes are turned on and what genes are turned off. Oh, they had to investigate and needed soil sample results. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I don't think the soil sample is more than like 35 or 40 bucks. That would probably be worth doing, Chris. Constant battle with spider mites in the lab? Oh, spider mites. Let me find you a link. I got you a link for that. Hold on. You can beat spider mites with nutrition too, geeky. You're gonna have to spend a couple of bucks, but it's not that bad. And you can truly beat them and not have to fight them. I think it's about 30 minutes in on that video. He talks about how to beat leaf chewers, spider mites, Colorado potato bug, all those kind of insects using nutrition. Have them just not with me when I called. Yeah, okay, alright. We'll keep following up on that. I'm curious to hear. I'll bet my guess that I emailed to you, I'll bet he's pretty close on with that. I think it's high nitrate, nitrogen, and probably not enough molybdenum, boron, copper, zinc, to balance out that nitrogen and convert it to whatever the other form of nitrogen is that the plants can use. Because that molybdenum is the base for an enzyme, and that makes a huge difference in that whole chain. I think if you get that trace mineral nutrition straightened out, I think you can deal with that whole poultry manure thing real simple with a few drenches or foliar feeds once you understand how to beat it. I really hope we can solve this. This would be awesome. Not nitrate. That, yeah. Okay. Well, get those samples into them, and I'm sure they'll hunt it down. Those guys are excellent scientists, man. I called them about a couple of questions I had earlier this week, and I love when I talk to one of their consultants and I don't have to like explain this whole picture to them. I can kind of, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this, I don't have this, I don't have that, and they're like, yep, yep. And then I ask a question and they're like, oh, blah, 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 blah. They have an answer and they understand what I mean. I don't have to go into great depth to explain what I'm trying to ask a question about. Anyway, they're excellent scientists, and I'm sure they can find a... Yeah, they'll be more help than the local guys. It doesn't sound like the local guys are interested in solving the problem. I mean, you know, you were asking about how to fix it. Like, there is no fix. Well, no, if you can create the problem, there's a fix for it. The question is, what is the fix? And yeah, it's going to take some investigation, some science to figure that out. It's not, you know, the answers aren't just going to fall in your lap. How's that go? Nothing good is easy, or something like that. But you know what I'm saying. Yeah, it's a local problem, but it has to do with the soil and the poultry manure, because you said the land, that soil didn't have that problem until they put the poultry manure on, right? Then they put the poultry manure on, and now all of a sudden there's a problem, there's cows dying. Well, you did something that changed it. If you did something that changed it, there's a way to change it back. You just have to find out what's out of balance and address it. It could be high molybdenum too, I don't know. You know, that could kill cows if it's not high nitrate. Just couldn't leave it in pasture. Yeah. Yeah, but what they're saying is you basically can't use that pasture for how long? How long are they saying you have to stay out of that pasture with the cows? It's a long time, right? Well, anyway, I gotta get back and finish these foliar feeds. It's gonna be a long night. Aluminum, oh yeah. Yeah. Well, you think about how reactive aluminum is. Aluminum is so reactive that even, you know, like if you cut fresh aluminum, within hours it forms that anodized coating over it. It's that fast. GDP! Oh man, I was just about to pull the plug here. What's going on, GDP? How are you guys? Good to see you in. Glad you made it to the stream. We talked about all kinds of stuff tonight, man. What a nice diverse net tonight. Everything from bees to eggs, whether or not to wash eggs, over to snakes, to cows, to nutrition, to organic standards versus non-organic standards. Yeah, Geeky, that's right. Aluminum, barium, and there's another one that are the main ones, I think. Well, it makes sense too, like aluminum is reflective, it's super reactive. You look how many of our trees are dying, how our environment's changing, you know. It's distinct, this is a distinct possibility. Okay, homesteading the highway, have a good night. Thanks for coming. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff, GDP. Yeah, excellent net tonight. Excellent discussion and conversation. It was a fantastic stream tonight. It was awesome. And we had, I think we had 10 or 11 viewers at one point, so that was nice. Starting to grow. Slow growth. Organic growth. Organic growth without foliar feeds. Hit the like. Thanks, homesteading the highway. Well, anyway, I gotta pull the plug. I'm sorry to pull out on you so fast, GDP, but I got foliar drenches I still gotta finish. Got like 6 more of those to do, and 2 of them are 50-gallon shots. I'm doing a deep soil drench tonight. One of us was not really here. Not just one of us, Geeky. I'm not really here. I'm here in spirit, but the mind might not be sometimes. Stephtronics, good night. Thanks for joining the net. Appreciate it. Glad you made it in, GDP. Sorry we missed you for longer, but thanks for your support and coming in. Always enjoy seeing you guys. Looking forward to your next video. And thanks everyone for joining and participating, for excellent comments and conversation. Thanks to all those who participated. It's greatly appreciated. This has been another stream from the Pharmacy Seeds Network. We do these every Tuesday at 9:30 p.m. We start out with the Amateur Radio Farmers and Gardeners Net, and we finish off with a live stream conversation here, right on the TFSN YouTube channel. Good night, everyone. Thanks for watching. Thanks for participating. 7 threes, as we say.